Awesome. So we'll just give it a second to hear from chat to make sure everything is good. Give me another minute or two to consume. Is everybody feeling good? Anybody nervous?
Yeah. No. Oh, I mean, sorry, the no is in response to feeling good.
That's good.
Sunglasses have been added to the personage.
Anybody nervous? Yeah. No. Oh, I mean, sorry, the no is in response to feeling good.
Getting a little bit of an echo on somebody.
That's good. Yeah, I can't hear whoever that is.
Whoever has the stream open, one of you is echoing the stream back to us.
I just have the chat box popped out.
Sorry, yeah, that's what I was doing, and then the volume decided not to shut off properly. Here.
We good now? Give it a second to see if an echo comes back. I like that idea, Crab. You may all burn edge right now if you wish to die. It'll make this a lot faster. Alright, just gonna refill my drink. We can get this terribly dangerous, super nervous thing over with. All right. Hello and welcome to all of you. I can't say fine people because you're obviously all horrible criminals.
I have a code of honor.
All right, you're still a criminal, but a slightly less horrible one.
Thank you.
Flash has no code of honor.
Seeger has a code of honor called "Kill the Police."
Flash will knock you out and turn you over to them if you do that.
Oh, it will assist in said endeavor.
Excellent. So now that we've gotten the unpleasant pleasantries out of the way, you guys have gotten a message from your usual shadow connections about a job that comes up, and it is labeled as a very dangerous job, but the money should be good, and the details you obviously get from the Johnson that goes by the name of Momma. Your shadow connection that forwarded this to you will tell you that she sounded like a very nice lady on the phone. The location of the meet is about 5 miles outside of Glow City, in one of the well, it's not exactly a nice area of town because it's within eyesight of Glow City. However, it is not Glow City, so that's got that going for it. Yeah, but like it's not the nice populated areas of Redmond. It's more of the nobody really wants to live near that area kind of Redmond. The meet is for 4:30 in the afternoon. It is as I Google Seattle weather, it is a cloudy 58 degrees out. How would you guys like to go about getting there?
Ford America car.
Is radiation going to be a concern at this specific place?
If you are not, hanging out there for hours and hours and hours and days, you should probably be fine. No better or worse than the normal Barrens-ish area.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. So I was-
but, if you go deeper into Glow City, it'll be...
yeah, no, if I
significantly
go
worse.
towards Glow City, I'm going to need radiation stuff. Yeah, okay.
Oh, glitch. Flash gets lost.
It's not exactly a terribly dangerous situation of that, considering you're just driving across. Your car will indeed be shot at, and its paint job will probably be ruined from bullet fire, but nothing super hazardous. Your car just looks like it's been in a gunfight. How is everybody else getting out there? I see an Americar from Poet, a Mirage from
Dang
Seeker,
it.
and a
Big-
big-ass...
Big Bob's gonna charge me extra for this.
Yeah, I'll be taking my Ford Americar as well. Get there about 5 minutes early, and considering the location, I'm going to get my Mossberg out of the trunk and just have it,
At
on
hand.
its sling.
Yes. And in that vein, since once we get into the battle parts of town and past the gunfight, Flash is going to put on, since this is a bad part, Flash is going to also get out his Ares Alpha. And
Toss it
That'll
on the
be it.
passenger seat.
more or
So
less.
Seeker, you are getting there about 30 minutes early as you pull up in the general area. There's not a lot of people you see around. The area looks like most of the Barrens, only slightly worse. The location itself looks like it was a mechanic's garage, like an automotive mechanic. Outside, you see a dwarf, and if you want to roll perception, I can give you more details.
Yes, I'd like to do that. Three successes.
So with 3 successes, you can see that there is what looks like a GMC Bulldog. Like the back end of it is kind of poking around the corner. The dwarf himself is wearing some very obvious street tough clothes. Nothing identifiable such as like gang markings, but he is ridiculously muscular. Like obviously artificially muscular. He is probably a little unhealthy. But he's got, bandana, tough guy, giant cigar kind of thing sitting out there. And he is standing by the giant horizontally sliding door that, you would open up for a vehicle to pull in or out of.
Yeah. I just stand by my Mirage until other people come up, take a cigarette, and just wait.
We'll attempt to see if he can pull his vehicle into the garage. Like, is this a we are being waved in situation, or is this a private garage?
So after about 15 minutes of Seeker stand there, like the dwarf very obviously notices you because there's not a whole lot of people around, and there is a dude just kind of standing there.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really say or do anything to Seeker. He just kind of does that nod of acknowledgement from across the road, like, yeah, I see you.
I just want to know if I can get parking. I will roll down my window and ask if I can get parking.
Well, you were only... how early were you pulling up, Poet?
I'm
On
trying
time.
to get there just like 5 minutes early.
So is Flash.
Okay. So there's a small convoy that is arriving. We'll go with Poet first. Your 14 was perception, or was that some kind of...
That was perception to see the dwarf.
Yeah, no, he is a very muscular dwarf. As you pull
I
up
got
and
the description.
okay,
I mean, if you're going to give me more with one more hit, feel free.
his knuckles look a little like you've been punching things.
Yeah.
They are calloused and
So yeah,
like
he's a
hardened
lot
skin.
of wear in him. Great. Okay. I wonder what kind of repo we're going to be doing today.
As you pull up, he does the thing where he pulls down his obviously large dark sunglasses, looks at you over the eyes, and like just kind of gives you a look of like, "What do you want?"
So we'll raise his coffee in acknowledgement and say, "I'm here. I'm here. Hello, my good fellow. I'm here to see Momma. Believe I have an appointment."
When you mention Mama, he gets a giant smile on his face, like all of a sudden his cares in the world are gone. And he will be like, "Oh, you're looking to pull in?"
Yeah, if that'll work.
He'll nod and push his glass back up and do that thing and kind of spit in his hands, and then
Yeah.
we'll walk around to where the giant door opens.
Mm-hmm.
He will set his body and begins to just muscle this giant door to the side. It makes the sound of a not well-oiled machine.
Great, and I will pull on inside, praying to God this man can continue holding this thing up and not get crushed in my car.
It goes horizontally, not vertically. So unless he starts to push it closed on your car, which may take a little while, given as how long it's taken for him to kind of push it open there.
Yeah, for some reason I got a vertical impression. I don't know why. Yeah. I will pull on in and look around the garage or whatever the parking structure area is.
Yep. So they will. I assume everybody else kind of rolls on in. Is everybody else gonna ask for being pulled inside, or are they going to get out of the vehicles and walk in?
Yeah, I'm going to go. When I see another person gets parking, I'm going to ask if I can park too.
Motorcycle, no problem. You could probably get one other car in here.
I think I'm going to leave my car outside.
Okay.
Would Macbeth's endurance fit, or a smaller car?
The endurance will probably fit. It's just how they kind of have a certain number of bays that they can work on in these kind of situations of a car mechanics.
Yeah, for sure.
This is only like a 2, and obviously a motorcycle being a smaller thing can
pull off to the side.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, well, Macbeth would ask. I don't want to leave my my van outside.
And like I said in the chat, I'm going to set it so that I'm getting the feed from my car's sensor array in an AR window and just, glancing at it every few minutes so that, make sure nothing's happening.
You guys are so paranoid.
It's part of the job.
Right. So inside it looks kind of like this. I couldn't exactly find the picture that I was looking for, but this looks fairly dilapidated. I should probably make right. It has like each of the 2 little bays that you're able to pull your cars and have one of those grease pit things on there, where people can work on the underneath of a car without a hydraulic jack. The place looks like it has not been cleaned properly in quite a while. There is a makeshift like tarp / hospital-ish area off in the side. You can see that there is you guys got like 3. There is either a elf that is walking around back there, or it's an orc. You're not really sure. There is another dwarf that is running around kind of doing things. He is moving boxes and other little tiny kind of...
Yeah, so sorry, what's the total body count of other people?
4.
4. Okay, yeah. So
there are 4.
Elf / orc, which is an interesting hybrid dwarf, and what were the metatypes of the other two?
There is the dwarf that is kind of running around and just moving stuff about.
Yeah.
There was the dwarf that was at the door who,
Yeah.
As you guys pull in, he closes the door most of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. And then walking up to you, you will see I hate to call her middle-aged because Momma is such a nice woman, but she is an orc. And
Okay.
she is probably in her, we'll say, early 30s.
That's pretty old for an orc, yeah.
It is pretty old for an orc, but pretty middle-aged for every non-orc. And she will get a big ol' toothy grin on her face when she sees that there are new people here besides her boys. Aw. So the room doesn't have any tables or chairs or really any amenities. The work lady will begin to approach you, and we're going to go with, I guess, Poet, because he is the prettiest.
By a wide margin.
Probably not by that wide of a margin, but
He's
Hey.
an exceptional charisma elf.
yeah. So she will approach Poet and Seeker and reach out to shake their hands with her cyber arms. So glad that in a melodic voice that I will not attempt to do because my voice
It's not melodic.
my self-esteem. But it sounds like the voice of a, say, 6 or 7 charisma elven lady. It's like, you're the boys that are here to help me with Mama's little problem, aren't you?
I think so. I'd love to hear a little bit more about this particular problem before we get down to the dirty business. And he'll give a smile, like dirt is a thing he does not actually comprehend, and he is not surrounded by it at the moment. And of course, this lady of obvious class does not either.
Obvious class. Do you guys actually shake her hand, or?
I will
Yeah,
absolutely-
Seeker shakes her hand.
All right. She will, after shaking your hands, she will say, "Oh no, of course." Noticing Poet mentioning something about the dirt of the area, she will reach behind herself and pull out one of those bottles of hand sanitizer and begin to clean her
sanitize
hands.
her cyber limbs.
Yes. If Poet is interested, she will give him a little squirt.
Oh no, I wasn't actually saying anything about that. I was
okay.
just-
I imagine you had the look of ugh, how unrefined.
No, I was saying that with complete sincerity, sir.
Sir?
That was certified GM, not the lady.
Whoops. She will be like, very good. Now excuse me just 1 second. And then she will yell in the most guttural orzette that you have heard outside of was it the spikes that are all orc yangs?
That's the troll. They're trolls.
Oh, whatever. It's in some ridiculous orzette. Does anybody actually speak orzette?
I don't.
No.
Nope.
Nope.
And you will see that the little dwarf that was running around super fast, he will freeze up for a second and then tear off to the back behind the curtain, and then come back out with a folding chair and run up to Momma and put it down. And she will, "Oh, thank you, Pappy," and pat him on the head and sit and then sanitize her hands again. It's like, all right, so Mama's had a little problem. A man went and purchased some hardware from Momma, very expensive hardware, and then has stopped making his payments as we had agreed upon. Now, Momma knows sometimes you run into some money problems, but this has been a little too long. As such, I feel like it is time to retrieve my hardware back from him, and probably him himself. Because you know how it is. You gotta teach lessons.
You want him alive?
Oh, we'll
or-
nod in deepest sympathy and understanding about the unfortunate nature of people skimping out on their debts.
Seeker will nod and pull forth a juice break from his vest and offer one to Momma.
She will be like, "Oh, well, thank you," and then take it with like her fingers and kind of just like her thumb and forefinger on her hand and kind of put it on the floor next to her and sanitize her hands.
So, do you want him alive, or how do you want him?
Well, preferably, I guess I could have him alive. After all, it's hard to teach lessons when you're not. And she's, interlocks her fingers on her hands and taps her thumbs together. The hardware would also be preferably undamaged, but I understand that things can get a little hectic. However, the important thing is getting it back intact.
And what kind of hardware are we talking about exactly, Mama?
Flash, you were about to say something?
Yes, Flash is going to ask her, do you absolutely need both, or if we can only get one, which would you rather have?
Well, I suppose I would rather have the hardware. That's worth actual nuyen to me, where he is just... You understand how it is in this business. You need to...
Yes, I understand completely.
...have a certain reputation. And the reputation is somebody screwing over old Mama. That's no good. And then, Poet, you were asking something.
Exactly what kind of hardware are you wishing us to retrieve, and who are we to be retrieving this hardware from?
Oh, I'll give you the exact details of that once we get down to the nitty-gritty of things. The small, quick dwarf will begin to approach from behind, and he will get down on his hands and knees and approach Mama as she is sitting there.
Wait, on his hands and knees? Is he like worshiping her like she's a god?
No, but it is like I'm sneaking up on there and kind of like, all right, I'm gonna get down real low to the ground, like he's trying to be sneaky.
Okay.
Can I try to spot him?
Oh, you could see him doing it because he's like coming up behind her, and you're not exactly in a crowd of. He's not like hiding behind boxes and things. He's just kind of like drops down real low to the ground and comes up on her. As she continues to talk, he will yoink the juice box and scamper off with it. It's like, well, I deal primarily in cyberware. And as such, the hardware I'm looking for you to retrieve is some cyberware.
Has it been installed already?
Why, yes, it has.
Flash will mention this does make it simpler.
Seeker's pretty distracted right now because of that dwarf.
So the software, if you would, I am not terribly concerned with. However, I would prefer that the hardware not be damaged by anything that is done to the software.
Oh, sorry, OOC, but I have no idea what that means.
She doesn't care about the meat. She just wants the metal.
Okay.
I think that would be wetware then, not software.
Oh, well, she's a demure lady.
She doesn't want him dead just yet.
Yeah. Okay. And so this is some cyberware, and from someone of your what I can only assume to be obvious skill, I assume that dwarf was looking like pretty good because he was pretty heavily cybered up. Poet will cast a knowing glance at dwarf number 1 if he is still around.
He is leaning against the.
Yeah.
So like the doorway is mostly closed, but he is leaning against the wall of the doorway, arms crossed, looking super tough.
Yeah, Poet will let his eyes lead Momma to that this modification was obviously fairly extensive and of a high grade, and as such, we'd like to know, if at all possible, exactly what we're going to be retrieving so that we can take measures to assure that the a full list of what was installed.
Of course. For the hardware we need you to retrieve, we will be able to provide you said list. I don't know if he did anything to ruin our good work here, but we will deal with that when the time comes.
And obviously, as much as we would love to retrieve your hardware, if the hardware is already damaged upon our retrieving of it, this would be something out of our hands. Although I'm sure, considering the quality of your work, he will have taken at least some effort to keep it in good care.
I would hope so. We toiled awfully hard on that. It's not hard to find. I'm sorry. It's not easy to find the requisite pieces in the number that he required.
And so just for a second over DNI, so how's everyone thinking? People, team, guys.
Flash is going to reply that he's done this. He's grabbed people before. It just depends on where it's going to be the difficulty.
Yeah. So
From what she said, I have no objections.
So Poet's going to look back to Momma. Well, his gaze never really left her. He was just asking people questions over DNI. And he's going to say, now the matter comes to be individual who made off with your merchandise. And Poet will, again, have a look of what an asshole.
I know, right?
When referring to this guy. Obviously, you do some high-quality work, which is ironically going to make the retrieval of said work a little bit more difficult. But one person, barring some truly miraculous stuff on your part, is generally not something you contract a full set of individuals like ourselves for. So I assume you're expecting some additional complicating factors?
She blushes a bit at your constant praise and niceties. And then I totally forget what you were actually asking.
So basically, Poe was saying, look, there are 5 of us. You're hiring us to get this one guy. I'm sure you do some great work, but it's still one guy. And usually you don't hire entire runner teams to get one guy. So I assume there's a little more to this in terms of problems, situations than one dude, however extensive the wear.
She will, it's like, oh, no, that, of course. The problem in this situation is location and the inability to have my boys take care of it on themselves, you see. She will motion towards the door for the door, and he will pick up like a moderately sized metal bar off the detritus on the ground, and he will begin to pretzel it. My boys aren't exactly subtle, and the area that this man is operating in is a little more discreet than my boys can handle. The other problem is the connections.
Oh, well, nod knowingly and say, could you tell us a little bit more about this area and or connections before we...
Well, you see, the man who purchased said products from me has certain organized crime ties that he is using to his advantage to put himself out of reach. The location he has set up his wonderful little shop in is kind of not worth the risk for most operations. As such, he has lost some of his ties for this particular operation from his backers and his friends.
Poe will nod and say, may I ask which organized crime syndicate he's associated with?
So he I don't know the actual Yakuza families in Seattle, but he is affiliated with one of the lower end ones.
The Yakuza, you say?
Okay. And the other was the location. Was the other main complicating factor? Where exactly has this rapscallion gone to ground?
Auburn.
Excuse me while I open the map of Seattle.
It is a AA zone.
Let's see. And I'm going to roll knowledge Yakuza to see if I know what family this would be.
Gonna make me look up Shadowrun Yakuza families.
Yes.
Pretty sure I keep. Yep.
Yeah,
keep
no,
all
you got
those.
you got 5. You are totally.
Okay. If I remember, there's not that many AA zones in Auburn.
See, this is why I just always have that map open in another tab whenever I
Yeah.
play.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. There's like 2, I think.
AA. There's one in the north and one in the west, both on the edges.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, with all these things in mind, how will you compensate us, if I may ask that, Mama?
I'm just typing something out real quick. So, for the safe return of my hardware, I had notes on this. I'll be willing to offer you 5,000 New Yen per instance of hardware returned. For the man himself, the will be the same.
5,000 for each of us, or
5,000 per instance of hardware, and the man himself, and that is per person.
And exactly how many parts of hardware have you installed in this man, Mama?
There are 6 instances of hardware.
Yeah. Okay. And so Poet will say, if you'll just allow me to have a brief conversation with my compatriots, and Poet will DNI the team. So
Of course. Excuse me. And she will get up and walk away for a minute so as to not intrude on your...
mind talk.
Yeah.
does she know how it works?
So, yeah, Poet's going to say, so that's a maximum of 35K each to go up against the Yakuza and someone who can afford what I can only assume from the math is at least $500,000 in cyberware. 500,000 New Yen in cyberware. Because she's paying us for its
I have about that much in cyberware.
at least, I said at least that much. That'd be the minimum because she's paying us just for its recovery among 5 people, 150K New Yen, which we can assume is the used value of all of that.
I'm thinking that we need to bump up the price, because if someone has access to that much cyberware for themselves, plus ties with the freaking Yakuza, I think we are in for a bit of a hassle.
See if you can get some in advance. For expenses.
I agree, and but I don't think she has a luxury spa.
Yeah, that's fine. So I think what we'll do is try and see if we can, obviously make sure the money's in escrow, or since she seems like it's entirely possible that she's the kind of Johnson who somehow does not have access to escrow, if it's in some other form of physically verifiable thing, escrow alternatives, basically, as well as money for expenses. We should probably note that, unfortunately, due to this man's connections, actions against him may get us in trouble with the local Yakuza, which is obviously not something to be taken lightly. So at the very least, we'll want to make sure we have some money to make this, shall we say, a more sanctioned operation. Ideally, depending on who this person exactly is, we could do something along the lines of getting them to basically give us a pass. I'm guessing that's not, he's going to be too high up there for that to happen, but we can dream. Either way, more money for Yakuza relevant expenses seems a good thing to go for. So, assuming everybody is more or less on board with this as a general idea,
I am.
Yeah.
Hood is going to make sure he gets the nod from each of you. D and I are physical, and then look back to Momma and say, Momma, this arrangement sounds more or less appropriate. Minus
Momma is a little off from you guys at the moment. She is talking to the. It's either an orc that got cyberware to look like an elf, or an elf that got cyberware to look like an orc. It's kind of hard to tell from here.
That's okay.
He will kind of tap her on the shoulder and point towards you guys, and she will. Yeah, you're not really sure if he is an orc poser or an elf poser.
Okay.
She will shoot him a dirty look for touching her, and then pull out her little bottle of hand sanitizer and squirt some into her hand as she begins to walk back over, and then she'll rub her shoulder.
So, Momma, for a hardware retrieval job of this kind, you're being obviously paying appropriate to the merchandise that's being recovered. The real issue here is, of course, the combination of a high security zone and, more directly important, the what I can only assume to be significant organized crime ties this specific individual may have. As a result, while usually $35,000 each would be a potential $35,000 each for full recovery would be a more than generous fee, we're going to need some of that money. We're going to need some money specifically to deal with his extensive connections. And as such, I think we're going to need to raise the fee slightly. Per usual, we'll need some of it, small percentage up front to handle the incidental expenses, and he'll give a apologetic shrug about said expenses, and of course the remainder to be left in escrow.
Secret Butson says, and the possible backlash when or if we complete this job that the Yakuza, the organized crime can have against us. Like, there is a possibility if they find out something about us that we're going to have a real rough time.
Well, that's why I'm hiring some professionals if you guys want to throw your dice in some mix.
Yeah, you want to assist me, Seeker?
Yeah, I'm assisting you. I'm just going to calculate my dice.
Yep. Let's take a quick look at some character sheets real quick.
Bams, is street cred going to be applicable for this?
How much street cred do you have?
24.
You can take 5 points of street cred in there too.
Okay.
With Nah, not without the legendary though, just because.
That's including the legendary, right?
Yeah.
You get 2 negotiation plus
Yep.
from me.
Okay. Does anybody else want to assist? Bump in?
I don't have the negotiation skill. I'd be rolling 2 dice.
So +5 from legendary rep and street cred.
I'm not gonna risk Flash's 4 dice on this.
Sure.
And yeah. I will
How you feeling about that?
post edge.
Mama always gets what Mama wants.
Yeah, I got that impression from her. Keep all those.
All right. Let me do some mental math. So as you kind of bring up these various points and you guys are talking about it, she goes from getting her happy self to a more annoyed self, and the occasional word of Orzet will slip in there. But still in that melodic elven voice. Whew, Mama is a mean negotiator. I say, all right, Sonny. Here's what Mama can do, and you're breaking poor Mama's bank. Hopefully, I'll be able to make some return profit off of the investment I made in this poor, misguided gentleman. Primarily,
I will totally nod to this.
primarily, I just need the hardware back. However, if you can get me the man himself, I will offer you 10,000 nuyen for him. I will also give you upfront on a certified cred stick and she will turn and yell over her shoulder, Pappy! I'm actually going to yell for your benefits.
What'd you call him?
Pappy?
Pappy? All right.
Peppy. And the little speedy dwarf will come, like, running around to her, and she will kind of lean down and speak to him in some Orzet, and he will give her a sharp salute and run off. It's like, I will be more than happy to give you some upfront 10,000 nuyens in the certified cred stick. I unfortunately, as you can see, and she will motion around the air quotes facility, am not exactly a firm believer in banking. But she is willing to give you each 10,000 nuyen upfront.
Yeah, sorry. So it's 10K. Right now we're at 10K up front, each 30K at the end for a total of 40K.
And if you need...
But she is not willing to give us escrow.
She is not exactly the banking type.
Not exactly the banking type. Okay.
As you can very clearly see from the rundown place that she is very clearly not actually set up a permanent home in.
Yeah, so since escrow is going to be an issue, OOC, I'm going to ask, is there a way I could use one of my contacts or my fixer to lower the total payment amount and have the remainder placed in escrow for her? Like, set it up for her.
Let's
I
find
do have
out.
a fairly extensive contact list.
Let's take a look down said list, and we will...
Including Kyoko, who I assume can probably do money laundering. Maybe she's more of an ID person.
Probably can, but the question would become who you got the job itself from.
Yeah,
and
I
that
also
would probably
have...
be the only person that, like, she has a connection with
okay.
that person
Probably
because
my
that's
fixer,
how.
Senkatank, who is a 4-3.
Yeah,
British accented Turkish man.
you what, mate? Yeah, if you want to roll his dice, we can see how that rolls.
And anybody else have a particularly good fixer?
Not
Passing
really.
around real quick.
Not even a little bit.
Okay.
I believe.
Turkish natural here. So he's for a cut. He is willing to do this because he is not normally into being a bank. However, he understands the situation, and as such, he is in the business of making money. So for there's five. So for $2,000 a head, or 10,000 nuyen off the top, he will escrow the remaining money after he has a conversation with Momma. So like you'll call him up and essentially put her on the phone. Do you hand her your comlink or do you shoot her the AR code?
I'll invite her to the call with Senk.
She will yell for Pappy once again, who will show up and then run off to go grab her comlink. And
I will of course explain to her that while she doesn't deal with banking, I happen to know an individual who can do so, and of course this fee will come out of
your
end.
Couple of seconds will go by as Pepe comes hauling ass through the empty garage that you guys are in, and he will hand her what looks like a Runraku sensei. She will thank him and pat him on the head and then sanitize her hands and the phone, and then mess with it a little bit as if somebody does not know how to use technology, and then answer said phone. And she will speak aloud because that's how Momma rolls.
Mm-hmm.
They will discuss, and she will be like, "Oh," and then recognize who it is that you have put her on the phone with, and that is how she got in contact with you in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And she will make the agreement to have somebody come by to pick up the certified crest sticks that will carry the remainder of your money and hold it in pseudo escrow with your fixer.
Okay.
I need the AFK second because somebody is knocking at my door, probably going to try and sell me something.
I assume everybody here is cool with the 2K ahead for no potential to be screwed by your Johnson. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's acceptable. I mean,
For sure.
It's better than
not
getting
really
screwed.
concerned. Now, we don't know which AA area yet, do we?
He said Auburn. So,
It is in Auburn.
and I only see one AA area in Auburn from this map.
There's 2 AA areas.
On
In
which
the
map?
district.
There's one at Lake Wilderness and one near
Just
the
south
border.
of the actual town called Auburn, which is actually in the southwestern corner of Renton.
Wait.
Yeah, so it's the other A zone is by the border of.
Oh, I was looking at the other Auburn, like right above the lake.
Where's the map you guys are looking at? If you can shoot me the.
Yeah, I'll just put it in the roll 20.
Yes, that's the one I am using.
Oh God, no! This is all kinds of.
So,
Based on the fact that it's a AA zone and my 5 hits earlier on Knowledge Yakuza, can I figure out either which of these AA zones it is, or which families, which of those 3 families I could potentially knock out of the running?
Yeah, let me just kind of. So it is. I shifted my chair a little bit here. Is near the Lake Wilderness area. the man who has the Yakuza ties is actually not. They don't operate in that area. He is kind of ventured out on a side project by himself.
Uh,
Oh, that's even worse. Okay. And
well,
now that we've
maybe it actually might be a bit better since if the Yakuza don't actually have like a great deal of control over that area.
so now that we've discussed price with Momma, I'd love to hear a little bit more about this particular customer who has been causing you such a nuisance. And Poe will, shake his head in sad face of Momma being caused a nuisance.
Right? Who dares calls Mama a nuisance? That's no good.
And any relevant information you have about this man or why he might be hiding out in Auburn, because she did say that, right? Specifically,
Yeah,
she's the one who told us that.
She said
Yeah.
Auburn, and then
So she knows he's there. So if she knows why he's there or what he's doing there, in addition to his name, that would, of course, make everything go much more smoothly for us and give her a higher chance of getting her merchandise back quickly
Right.
and in good condition.
So it is a. I'm sorry. I think I misread that map. Let me find where I had it again. This one is just an Auburn map. So it is actually a. Yeah, now let's stay up there. I thought the AA zones in Auburn were a little bit bigger than they are. So the man himself is in his air quotes retiring type thing. He is attempting to pass on his Yakuza business to his children. He is the owner of a small, don't want to call it like a lakeside resort, but it is a fairly decent sized plot of land that has some lakefront property to it.
Mm-hmm.
He, however, has chosen to go a little old school ish, and it is in addition a whorehouse offering
Great.
only the finest of entertainment. The hardware that you are being asked to retrieve is inside of those 6 wonderful individuals. It is your fairly standard advanced puppet technology. 4 of them.
Ooh, okay. Wait. 6 individuals.
Yep.
Puppet technology. Great.
So 4 of them are loaded with move-by-wire ones, some cyber eyes, and the requisite data filter, data jack setup to make them the 2 puppets.
Yep.
The 2, I'll actually just move their tokens down there, and then add some text. And the other 2 are of the air quotes advanced bodyguard model.
And can she give us specifics on what exactly is in these advanced bodyguard models? Like what kind of package that is?
Typing it out now.
Yeah.
What's the other thing? The 2K will come out of the back end pay. I just heard Skype make a sound. As Nicholas has some connection problems. I'll make some notes up here on the payday.
It's kind of an OOC question. Are you damaging cyberware, Bioware? So people with these models, at least I know for PC characters, if they are physically injured, the cyberware is not necessarily injured.
Right.
Is that sort of going to be more the same thing? But if the people are killed, we can assume the cyberware is damaged.
So
I just want to know how you're planning on.
for the most part, unless you do significantly bodily harm to them, you'll not have to worry about damaging the cyberware. But if you say chainsaw riposta man,
Yeah.
chances are you've damaged most of the cyberware in them.
Well, the good thing is if I mana bolt the people,
that will probably not.
that
have
only
nearly
kills the flesh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Poet's Fixer has an escrow. Sorry, I was making some notes here while I had the opportunity. Unless like significant bodily harm comes to them, you will not have to worry about damaging the cyberware. The move by wire system is over their entire body. As such, removing an arm or a leg from them will cause significant problems. However, unless you are specifically doing that or using like explosives for some reason, we won't have to really worry about that too much.
And from the information we've gotten from Momma, this is more or less a private facility. This is just like his personal playground, correct? You said it's a whorehouse also, but also kind of like his retirement home. So I'm wondering, like, is this whorehouse accessible to people of the, I don't want to say public, but
the place itself is kind of like a small resort type thing. It has a couple of bungalows. It has like a main hotel type thing. Given as he is, let me get him back in here real quick.
I just popped back into Roll20, so.
Okay. I think
Welcome
I'm
back. You did not miss anything terrible, I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just asking some questions about the RE damaging cyberware, which is basically, if we cut them into little pieces or grenade them to death, cyberware will be damaged. Otherwise, no.
Also, potentially length of time being air quotes dead before cyberware is removed could potentially lead to some damage.
We're not killing any of them.
Well, we're going to try not to kill any of them.
We intend to not have to kill any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you people have questions for Momma?
Yes. When she when she removes the cyberware from them, will they be unharmed?
Oh, I wasn't gonna remove it. No. It's, it's already installed. It's in there, and it will.
We are moving property, sir.
I will find a new buyer for them, and it may mean breaking the set, as it were, but stems the breaks. Omelets and eggs and soy eggs,
Sorry, by set you mean set of 6?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is bad feels. We are now officially somewhat in the Bunraku business. I am CYU called poet.
Yes. Rob, just to check, Flash didn't reroute any of these people at one point, did he? If you remember that, Ron.
Roll a memory test.
That's gonna be fun. No.
You're not sure. And did you spend edge on that?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
My pool is not that good. It still failed me.
All right. So yeah, you're not really. You remember you did something with puppets before, but not.
Which puppets?
It was so long ago. You're not really sure. There's a lot of fighting that day.
So Poet's going to ask Mama if she knows if these goods are sort of publicly accessible. In other words, they're associated with this resort that he is semi-operating in his quiet, supposed retirement. But it's more, I guess, what I'm getting at eventually is, are there social infiltration options to, hi, I'd like to see a Bunraku doll, please.
One meat puppet, please.
Yeah. I'd like a puppet. So that's, he's sort of trying to get at are they accessible to the public, or is this sort of creepy Yakuza man's private reserve?
So, to her knowledge, which may or may not be very good, because she's not exactly the kind of place she visits on the regular.
Yeah, she's a classy lady, Mama.
Right. As it is also like a resort, the puppet parlor aspect of things are more on the down low, so that those of his Yakuza friends that I have a person I need to take out of territory for talking of a meeting, and I need a secluded spot that also looks like it is a fancy place, because criminals always have meetings in fancy places. Having the amenities and all of the wonders of technology available to them is a nice thing to have, and it perhaps keeps the family a little happy when they're like, all right, we are going to
get our jollies on.
Nick is seeming to have connection issues.
Either
that or I've scared him off.
Well, Rocket does have a Yakuza vendetta, so this should be interesting. Guessing that's why you picked her.
I don't know what you're talking about, sir. That is paranoia speaking.
That's not paranoia at all. That's knowing what you think, Rob.
Yes.
So we're gonna take a break for a little while. It's gonna be going for a little over an hour. That ends. Our wonderful camera drone asked me about taking breaks, and hopefully to give him a opportunity to sort things out.
Okay.